the writing of a Final Destination movie is probably more challenging than meets the eye. Like, there's really specific things that need to happen in these types of movies. Like with the initial beginning disaster, I mean, it does have to be something that's this big disaster out in public. It can't be like a natural disaster or anything like that. It has to be something that's an accident. It has to involve tons of people, tons of deaths. It has to involve the main character with their premonition having to essentially save a group of people from this disaster before it happens, like not in the midst of it. So it's kind of a challenging thing. I would imagine now, like the fourth movie in, they're probably kind of struggling a little bit. But I think this movie, the Final Destination, which is Final Destination 4. Why they call it the Final Destination, who the hell knows? But this one, I think it has a good opening, and it opens on a racetrack, and kind of the funny thing that they point out is that, oh, I don't go to just see the cars go in circles. I want to see someone crash and fucking die or something like that. So, I don't know, the movie kind of tongue-in-cheek in a way winks at us at our kind of weird desire to see horrible things happen to people for no good reason. And that's pretty much what we see in all the Final Destination movies to one degree or another. And with the previous Final Destination movies that I've been talking about, particularly with the first one, I mean, with the first one, one thing that I'll repeat here is that with that movie, I felt there was issues with its tone, in that a part of it I do feel like it's trying to take itself a little bit seriously. It is this frank movie about this horrible plane crash where people survive and they have guilt about it, and they're just wondering what the hell's going on with this kid who knew a premonition, and all of a sudden death is coming back to settle the score, because we weren't meant to get off that plane. We were meant to die just like everybody else there. So it is kind of a serious concept, but it takes a more kind of silly route a little bit, like not to a horrible extreme or anything like that, but there's some goofy stuff in the first Final Destination movie. You have to admit that. So I felt that the tonal balance was a little bit off. And what I said of that movie is that I wish it would just give me something one way or another, right? Either give me something very, very serious that I can at least kind of get into and sink my teeth into, or at least give me something just forgetting all the seriousness, forgetting all the plot and details and all that, and just give me something stupid and fun where I can watch people die. And within this series, I've never gotten that very, very serious first type of version of Final Destination. But we have gotten that second version. We've gotten a completely silly, stupid, fucking bullshit version of the story in the Final Destination. And I'm all for it. I applaud the movie for at least kind of making that commitment to it. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't fuck around. It is what it is, and it's being a silly movie, which I really like. And I know a lot of people don't like this movie. They think the comedic tone to it is not appropriate. I don't really know why people dislike this movie the way it's pretty much the same as all the others. People die and they figure out the deaths after them after a big accident, stuff like that. And I think this movie does it just about as good as any of the others, if not better, because it at least kind of takes that stand. It says, we're going to make a stupid comedy, and it does it gloriously, which I love. Like, take, for example, the second movie, where we have the whole dentist scene with the kid, and like, oh, what's going to happen? Then we see the kid get horribly crushed by a plate of glass. But it's a 15-year-old kid. We see his mom, just like grief-stricken, completely bereft, and streaming tears through the eyes. And like, well, how am I supposed to take this as a fun, stupid comedy movie when I have that in the back of my head? And things like that, kind of a tonal imbalance. And with this movie, we have something actually similar. We have a mother who's killed right in front of her two kids. You think that'd be a horrible thing. In the next scene, they're goofing on her like, oh, well, we lost another MILF. And it's like, okay, this movie kind of gets it. It knows to not take itself so seriously, even more than the third film did, which the third film was kind of rising towards that and kind of forgetting the plot and just going for the silly kills. And I think the movie has, good death scenes in it. Like, one thing that I never would have thought I'd like see in a movie like this is the pool suction scene, which I thought was great. 'Cause you always like see like these news stories or like exposés on like, someone was in a pool and the suction came loose and it sucked their guts through their rectum, and you're like, wow, that's horrible. That's terrifying to see it happen in this movie. I don't know. It's kind of funny, especially to the character. He's kind of a douchebaggy kind of character, but a likable douchebag. So I think the characters they're as bland and vanilla as they get, but I don't know. There's something likable about these doofuses who can't really do much about death as it stares them down and tries to even the score and all that Final Destination kind of stuff. And, with the sense of humor of it has some kind of, I would say, clever kind of stuff. Like, this was originally a 3D release. This is the first Final Destination movie to get a 3D release. In fact, I think it might have actually been, like, this is kind of at the beginning of the 3D craze. I think even maybe before Avatar came out, just like a little bit before Avatar. This must have been the first 3D movie I've ever seen, at least in theaters. So maybe it has a sentimental value to it. I don't know, but we have that kind of gimmick to it. And the whole movie, it kind of like its climax revolves around a 3D movie, and there's an explosion in the movie, but through construction and a horrible accident back there behind the screen, the explosion happens at the same time as it happens in the movie, and kind of almost like picture someone saying, "Wow, what great 3D effect!" and dies or something. So I don't know. I kind of like the movie, and in fact, I really really like the movie. Possibly even better than the first three, which I know no one's going to agree with, but I don't know. There's always such a hesitance when it comes to these types of franchises, and them embracing kind of sillier sides, like with something like Nightmare on Elm Street. Some people just don't like the goofy kind of stuff. When meanwhile, like these types of movies are inherently goofy anyway, so why not just kind of go with it, So I like the movie. I think it's fun. I think it's to the point. It's graciously short, and it doesn't waste much time with the silly plotting and stuff. Though, I mean, we get the basic kind of stuff. And I think it answers a question in a very humorous way. It's a question that was brought up in the third film where, okay, Death has this plan, right? Well, how about I fucking kill myself, and then that pretty much ruins Death's plan, right? Well, we have this one character who kind of thinks that, and they're like trying to kill themselves all day, and they can't because Death won't allow it. So I thought that was pretty funny. And I don't know. It's a really good movie, I think. So I think it's an unfairly chastised film. I will not demonize the Final Destination for taking a goofier route, which the first movie didn't have the guts, the balls to take one road or another. It kind of kept this medium simmer between sort of serious, sort of goofy, and not really taking that kind of stance. So I don't know, maybe not the most popular opinion, but that's how I feel. And for what it's worth, if pettier kind of stuff, one, I think it has the coolest poster out of all the movies too, because all the other ones, it's like just kind of like this, floating heads of the actors, CGI airbrushed into, some picture or whatever. Here it's pretty cool, you see the shards of glass and like the skull in the face, and that's pretty cool. And the credits, the opening credits of this film are amazing. I love them, and it's great. I love it. The Final Destination, I'm just going to call it Final Destination 4. Let's not kid ourselves. I don't know why they called it that, but Final Destination 4, I love the movie. I think it's unfairly maligned. So that's my opinion on Final Destination 4. Stay tuned. I'll be talking about number 5 quite soon. Until next time, be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Visit Derek237.com. And until next time, I'll see you later.